Well, I was wrong about damn near everything, and it feels really fucking good to be wrong about everything in this case. Apple Cup wrapped a couple hours ago. The Washington Huskies keep the trophy in Seattle, and basically, it's a really nice note to end your regular season on. 41-14, and if you watch the game, it was probably worse than that. The Cougars never mounted a serious challenge to our interstate dominance. So, what was I wrong about? Basically, I thought this team needed to mount a strong passing attack to win, and I thought the Cougars were going to be able to move the ball through the air in ways that were actually relevant to the outcome of the game. Neither happened. Basically, we got dominated in terms of passing statistics. We barely passed the ball at all. And not only did we win easily, but when the game was in question, Washington's passing attack was basically a non-factor. I am really surprised at how good this team played tonight. So let's break it down. Offensively, we ran the ball all day. Ran it. It was the kind of offense that I felt wasn't going to be enough tonight, and it ended up being many times more than enough. Gaskin, almost a 200-yard game, one of the best games of his career, 4 touchdowns, absolute dominance. He could have won this game by himself practically. Ahmed, he was, the backup because of Levon Coleman getting hurt early on. He was great as well. He had a couple big plays. He was very productive. And that's the story of the game right there. The offensive line controlled the line of scrimmage, and our running backs, they're ballers, man. And Wazoo just never had an answer for it. And this is, by the way, despite the fact that this team, which basically didn't pass the ball hardly at all tonight, lost their best receiver on the second possession of the game, and we lost our backup running back to injury very early in this game. So it is really encouraging that this team was able to do this, missing Dante Pettis for almost the whole game. But the other side of that is it's kind of sad that the Cougars couldn't find a way to stop our rushing attack with what was supposed to be a good defense when we basically posed no threat through the air this whole game. Jake Browning threw for less than 100 yards, and we have very little talent on the outsides right now without Pettis. It is Aaron Fuller, it's Ty Jones, and it's not much else. I don't even know which one of those guys I would single out as being especially more talented than anyone else. They're all just guys. And basically, it didn't matter at all. Browning, I mean, there's not much you can say about him in this game. He was fine. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't make any big mistakes. He made a couple plays here and there, but he just sat back and let the running game control it. So, yeah, I was wrong. I thought we were going to have to pass the ball a little bit to win, and Browning could have maybe thrown the ball 3 times this whole game if he wanted to, and we still could have won. So, what can I say about that? Defensively, I don't know how they do it. I understand that the weather was bad. I understand that the game was in Seattle, but when the game was in question, they could barely do anything right. They had 2 long touchdown drives at the end of the game when, it was a rout already. The turnovers, we had 3 picks in this game. They were important interceptions as well in, preserving our comfortable status atop this game. We had the fumble recovery that really helped put the, I think, extended from 7-0 to 14-0. We had all of the quarterback pressures. I think we sacked Luke Falk like 5 or 6 times. It was a beatdown on Luke Falk tonight, and he played miserably too. Don't get me wrong, but Watching this team get pressure, rushing 3 players the whole game. We were just rushing 3, dropping 8 into coverage. Falk spent most of the day looking for receivers that just had a hell of a time getting open against 8 defensive backs back in coverage, and we were still getting to him with 3 guys rushing against 5 blockers. And that's encouraging. That has to make you feel good because the defense has been a little shaky the last few weeks, I think. It was good to see them get back on track today. And I know Washington, their offense is heavily specialized. I know it's an offense that runs entirely through their quarterback. It's not the kind of offenses you see most college teams run. It's an extreme version of the spread, but you still have to do work to shut those guys down, and we did it. We did it all. We forced turnovers. We got pressure. We forced punts. Washington basically didn't have a meaningful drive until the end of the game. So, big shout out to all those guys because I was doubting them a little bit, and they really came through in this Apple Cup to help keep the trophy in Seattle. Other than that, there's not a ton else to say. It was a great win. Special teams, we knocked through a couple of field goals. I mean, look, the special teams, it's going to take a hit when Dante Pettis goes out, and it sure did. The punt return game was non-existent, but I get it. I can understand that. So basically, all I have to say is I feel really freaking good going into whatever bowl game we end up getting. Don't really know what's going to happen at the top of the Pac-12 now. I think it's Stanford and I think it's USC, but it doesn't involve us, so it's tough to care too much, but right now it feels good to be a Husky. Dominant win. We didn't even need to fire on all cylinders to do it. We did it after missing a couple guys to injury. And, you know, as for the Cougars, I don't know what this says about them except, well, I said that if they won this game, I would have rooted for them in the Pac-12 championship game, but a game like this makes me wonder if they really belonged out in a Pac-12 championship game. It was just very strange. I don't understand how this defense, which has given up stuff to Utah and Stanford and maybe even 1 or 2 other games, you run into the elite offense of the Cougars, and it's almost irritating me a little. Maybe it should irritate me a little bit that we didn't see stuff like this against, you know, Stanford, a game where our defense kind of shit themselves. But I'll take it. We're 10-2. We're getting a good bowl game, hopefully. We're getting a bowl game for sure. I'll talk about that when that gets announced. Tonight is a night for celebrating. All right. Catch you guys later.